Chapter 168 A One Punch Man reveals the end of the most intense and consequential fight we were expecting to ultimately see in the One Punch Man universe. We saw Garo fighting by using his powers that he received from God and his knowledge of martial arts to fight Saitama. But before the fight, his presence alone was enough to kill surrounding living creatures, including humans and heroes. This was a power so great and fatal that Garo ended up accidentally killing the one person who he wanted to save after reforming society according to his plan. He sees the dead body of this kid Tario, who he countlessly protected and saved before, laying down near him. The shock was too much for him that he suddenly just runs towards the opposite side, leaving both the kid and his opponent Saitama behind, as if trying to forget that the current situation is not real, that the kid is still alive, and that he is winning the fight against the hero. Eventually, he realizes that the future is not how he wanted it to be, and in the end, he asks Saitama for a favor, to change the future by going back to the past. Now, one of the things that I found puzzling was that Saitama learned a martial arts skill that allows him to go back to the past and change the outcome of an event. Similar to what we saw in Dragon Ball movies like Resurrection F, where Whis uses his power to turn back time and save Earth. However, this is a martial arts skill never even seen in the original artwork by One, or the fact that we know Saitama himself was not born with superpowers or the ability to use magic. And yet, he was able to use magic and go to the past to change it. That's quite surprising, really. But will he be able to recreate it and use that skill if something goes wrong in the future again? I don't think so. See, when he went back and was still actively teleporting, he saw an opportunity to punch Garo, and after that, he ended up connecting his future body, or soul, and his past body together. And once that happened, Saitama looked confused, as if trying to figure out, why he was pulled up from under the rubble he was buried into, or why his private parts were exposed, or why he was holding the heart of Genos. This makes me believe that by changing the past and fusing with himself there, that he no longer has any memories of what took place in the future, so he no longer has the ability he learned from Garo himself to change the trajectory of history. But this also means that since he went back to the past, then maybe he is not as strong as he became when fighting and after fighting Garo, since he has no experience of that fight and the emotions of his dead disciple to use as motivation to fight seriously. I will confidently state that the present Saitama is much weaker than the future Saitama we saw fighting Garo for sure, but the room for growth is still there, and if he were to fight seriously once more, he will be just as strong as the future Saitama became.